Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you for the final time my MW3 best settings here in Season 6. That's right, these are my Modern Warfare 3 Season 6 best settings. These are going to be the final settings that I ever share with you guys here in Modern Warfare 3. As I share with you, of course, my graphic settings, controller settings, dead zones, sensitivity, you name it, we're going to be covering it today, going in depth and telling you what you kind of should and shouldn't use, but also showing you with exactly what I use here in Modern Warfare 3 to get the best out of my controller, out of my settings here in Modern Warfare 3. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, let's share those all-important Modern Warfare 3 Season 6 settings. And we're going to start off, of course, with the controller. This is a controller guide, mainly going to be about the controller settings, but we've also got the graphics and audio and other settings as well that you're going to find important. So let's start with, of course, the controller. Edit button layout. You want to change this to tactical. The reason for this being, your B is your melee and your chain stance, like in your slide and your dive, basically your crouch button, everything is all done by the right stick. The reason for this is, this makes it so much easier to slide cancel, okay? If you're not taking your thumb off of the thumbstick and you're going to be able to aim and slide cancel, slide around the map, do what you need to do, crouch, drop shot, all in the middle of a gunfight, whilst keeping your thumb on the aim stick at all times. It's just going to help you massively, so definitely have this on. Meleeing is not too important. You don't want to be accidentally meleeing in a gunfight, and if you keep that as your thumbstick saying, you might accidentally press the thumbstick in and melee by accident. It's not going to help you in the middle of a gunfight, so definitely change this to tactical. Get used to tactical. Bumper King off. Flip, you can have this off. However, if you're on PlayStation, this is something that you could advise having on. I have seen that people on PlayStation do this and it has worked quite well. Xbox, I wouldn't advise this, but on PlayStation, if you're on PS4, PS5, you name it, I would recommend that you do try this out because it does actually seem to be quite beneficial on those controllers. Stick layout preset, default controller vibration, have this off. You do not need the controller vibrating in your hand. It's going to make your, your controller shake around whilst you're trying to shoot, whilst you're trying to aim, and your shots aren't going to be very accurate. So make sure you have this off. Dead zone inputs. This could be different per person, but as a default, I'd say just go with a straight default here. I know some of you could probably run this lower because you might have newer controllers, or you might have controllers that have Hall effect sticks and stuff that don't have any stick drift, etc. I am using an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, which, by the way, I do have a guide as to the settings that I am using in Modern Warfare 3 for that, if you want to check that on the channel. Not going to cover that in today's video, as I do already have a video for that, if you guys are looking for that. But anyway, dead zone input. So you can test it here to see if you are getting any stick drift, but I have the left stick minimum on 2 because it's just movement. Even if there is stick drift, to be honest, as long as it's not over the top crazy, you can have this pretty low, to be honest, as long as it's not like making you move way to the left or way to the right when you are stationary. Right stick mid note, this is important. You don't want this to have too much stick drift. So I've got this set to 5. I could probably have this set to 3. My controller has next to no stick drift whatsoever. I could probably have this set on 2 and 3, but over time, a controller is going to develop stick drift if you don't have those Hall effect sticks and stuff. So I like to keep it on 5 just for those days where eventually I do get a bit more stick drift over it, as the days go on. And it will cause me to, have to change the setting and will affect my aim for those time periods where I have to then readjust to the fact that my dead zone is going up and up and up. So I'd say default, have this at 5, just so you're never having to change this again when you do eventually get a little bit more stick drift on your controller through that usage. Anyway, moving on, we're going on to the aiming. Stick sensitivity. This one's quite important, okay? Obviously, this is the main factor with aiming. This is a big, big factor when it comes to aiming. And a lot of you are probably wanting to see this. But I have been using 5.5 throughout the entire year of Modern Warfare 3. This has not changed. You can change this here as well to be more precise with it. However, I don't see that as being important. I think the normal way of doing it is the perfect way of doing it. And I go with 5.5. I would recommend anywhere between 5.5 and 8.8. Anywhere between there is what you want to be using. And I know there's going to be some crazy people that are going to tell me they play on 2020, which is absolutely fine. If you are confident, you are hitting your shots, then that you are playing at 2020 and you can hit those shots accurately and say that you aren't missing, then go ahead, play at 2020. You can play above 10, etc. But if you want to really be hitting those shots, and like I said, I'd recommend between 5.5 and 8.8. Anywhere between there is what you want to be using to get the best aim here in Modern Warfare 3. ADS sensitive multiplayer, you can change this as well if you want to. I'd say keep it at 1 just to keep that more consistent feeling. If you have it at 0.8, they're going from the vertical, your normal stick sensitivity and then the ADS stick sensitivity. It's a little bit, I don't like it personally, so I keep this at 1. Sensitivity multiplayer, again, you can change this as well. This is for other things like third person that, but I've kept those all at 1. Vertical aim axis, don't need to do anything with that. Tac stance, sensitive multiplayer. I've left this at 1 simply because I don't use tac stance anyway in this game. We're going to share the settings about that as well, like turning it on and off as well, because I'm sure you're going to probably think, well, you shouldn't use that. Obviously, you kind of want to still have that setting available to be able to use, just because there are challenges each week, so you want to be able to use in tac stance. However, to actually win a gunfight, I wouldn't use tac stance. It was a cool addition, but it was very gimmicky, and it isn't really that great or useful in gunfights here in Modern Warfare 3. This is the secret sauce, though, okay? This is my favorite setting here that I feel like I've taken the best advantage of here in Modern Warfare 3, and I think you guys should too. Aim response curve time. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Taz, everyone runs dynamic, and that's absolutely true. Most, if not everyone, runs dynamic. You can run standard, you can run linear. These are all perfectly usable in this game. However, I like to use dynamic, and I have tuned my aim response curve to the finest setting for me. Like, I do not miss shots. You guys can check gameplay, like the gameplays that I've posted on the channel. I've even posted a 1 minute and something nuke on this channel as a kind of, showcase of what I can do with this setting. And I use this at specifically 0.63. I have tuned this to my perfect setting. I would recommend, if you are looking to tune this and getting this right, anywhere between 0.80 and 0.60 is where you want to be. And to make sure you get this right, obviously go into combat training and test this out. And I'd move it up or down at 0.05 like measurements each time until you find that you get this at the perfect setting for yourself. And then if you want to fine tune it even more and get it to like 0.63, 0.62, 0.61 until you find that you are absolutely dead on perfect with your aim, feel free to do so. But that is my secret sauce setting. That is what I use here in Modern Warfare 3. I don't think many people take advantage of this great setting here in Modern Warfare 3, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. ADS sense multiplayer whilst focused, leave it at 1. Transition timing, of course, instant. You want your aim, your aim down sight settings taking effect immediately as soon as you start to aim down sight. Custom sensitivity per zoom. I have this off. You can change these for different snipers. I've seen people, raise these up because obviously with quick scoping and stuff. I personally don't do that. My settings work out fine enough. I can quick scope with it just being left off, so I don't need to change it. If you guys want to change that, feel free to do so. No problem with that at all. Target aim assist, of course, have this on. You want your aim assist on. Aim assist is broken. You want to be taking advantage of it. It's simple as that. Aim assist type. This is one that I feel like people debate all the time. You got default and you got Black Ops, and I use default, and I'll talk about why you should either use one of default or Black Ops and kind of what the difference is. Because precision and focusing, you don't want to be using. Do not use those. They do not have certain aim assist settings, like sticky aim assist when you're like strafing and stuff, like default and Black Ops does. But think of default as a bigger bubble. It's a bigger bubble of aim assist around the character, okay? It goes all around the character, right? It has a decent amount of strength to the aim assist. You will you feel like yourself catching your aim on the, the character or the enemy player with the default aim assist. And Black Ops is a smaller area of aim assist, however, is a lot stronger. So if you can get it dead center on the target, your aim is not going to come off of the target. But I personally like it on default. I like the ability that when I swipe over someone, my aim is just caught by the aim assist, and then I can just keep my shots on target by, maintaining my accuracy and everything, doing it myself. Whereas Black Ops, like I said, is a stronger aim assist type, but is a smaller area of aim assist, but it is a stronger type of aim assist. So it's kind of up to you which one you use. But I'd personally go with default. I just think that's personally the best out of the two, and I've been using it throughout the entirety of Modern Warfare 3. Gameplay, automatic sprint. Some people are going to say to have automatic tac sprint on. That's perfectly fine. Obviously, with slide cancelling that, it is very useful. I personally have it off. I don't like using it. I don't really, automatic tac sprint, automatic tac sprint everywhere. I don't really slide cancel too often, but when I do, I at least have the control of it when I want to do it. But yeah, I have this off, and I think you guys should either have automatic tac sprint on or have it completely off. That's up to you. Sprint, tactical sprint behavior, toggle, auto mode forward, off, single tap run. This is an important thing. This will actually save the lifespan of your controller also. Make sure you are changing this, because if you've got this on double tap and you are double tapping to sprint, one, it's taking you longer to be able to hit attack sprint quick, as quick as everyone else. Two, if you're double clicking your stick in over and over again just to be able to slide cancel, etc., and do a tactical sprint and that, you are going to wear out your thumbstick a lot quicker than you think. Like, you are going to develop stick drift very, very quickly. So make sure you've got this at least on single tap to sprint or single tap to run. I'd recommend single tap to run though for that saying. Grounded mantle, automatic airborne mantle, and automatic grounded mantle all off. You don't want to be mantling in the middle of a gunfight. This also doesn't mean that you can't mantle in the game. Like, yes, you will still be able to climb up ledges and stuff. You'll just have to be more like against the object, and you'll be doing it when you actually want to do it, not when you're in the middle of a gunfight and you like, for instance, that cinder block there or wherever it is on that image there. things like that. If you're in a gunfight and you're next to it, you'll jump and then you'll accidentally jump and then you'll be in hip fire whilst you're trying to aim down sight. And you don't want to be doing that. So make sure you have all your mantle settings off. Slide dive behavior. So this is the best way to be able to, use the the slide cancel, sorry. Either have this on slide only or hybrid. These are the best two and the most responsive when it comes to slide cancelling here in Modern Warfare 3. So definitely slide only or hybrid. Those are the two that you should be using. Plunging underwater is whatever. Parachute automatic behavior is on always. Sprinting door bash on, so you can sprint through those doors. Ledge climb behavior, mantle only, again, doesn't really matter. Aim down sight behavior is hold. Change zoom activation is the same. Weapon mount activation, actually this is quite important. ADS plus melee, just because on default, you can have it off, which is perfectly fine, to be honest. It's not really useful in this game. I still like to have the option just in case I want to, but I rarely ever, if ever, have weapon mounted in this game, just because of the pace of the game, slide cancel, etc. It's not really that important in this game, but if you want to, it's there. ADS plus melee, just so that you can still use it when you need to, and not accidentally doing it when you are trying to aim down sight in a gunfight. Weapon mount exit delay, in case you are using its instance, that you can get off that weapon mount as soon as possible. Tactical stance activation, again, like I said, we still want to have this setting available, as much as I find it not useful. There are challenges, camo challenges, you name it, so you still want to be able to use this. And who knows, you might want to have some fun and just use this randomly for a game or two. But ADS plus down button, just so I'm not accidentally doing it in the middle of gunfight, and this doesn't mess up my slide cancelling when I need to do a slide cancel. So ADS plus down, just so the option's there, and I can still do it when I need to for challenges, etc. Tactical stance behavior on toggle, interact behavior tap to reload, apply all, off, D-pad, on, 1x1, press, independent. Again, those settings aren't that important. I'm just showing you them anyway in case you want to use them settings anyway. That covers it, though, for the controller, the aiming, and the kind of gameplay settings, movement, you name it, for Modern Warfare 3. We're going to move over now to the graphics. We're going to talk about this setting here, which is the on-demand texture streaming. This is the worst setting in the world. I don't know why Modern Warfare 3 still continues to use this. That's Sledgehammer. I don't understand why they just took away the ability for us to turn this off. Make sure you got this on minimal. There's no point having it on optimized. You do actually get less input delay with optimized. It's a little bit. However, you will lag. It will cause latency issues. You will get packet loss issues. No matter what you do, I've got great internet. I've actually got 1 GB up and 1 GB down, sorry, and 100 upload. And I still get issues with on-demand texture streaming when it's set to optimized. It will cause random lag. It will cause your game to be awful. Just have it set to minimal, and I've got this on auto. I tried using this on small and large, etc. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, so I've just left it on auto for now. Download limits, you can put this on if you want. It does make a little bit of a difference, but I personally just have it off now. It doesn't, again, I'm not too bothered by it anymore. This kind of allows me to play the game without having any texture issues or issues with lag, etc. So that's what I'd use for your on-demand texture streaming settings. Weapon motion blur, world motion blur, film grain, depth of field, all set to 0 and off. The reason for this being, as you can see by the images, if you have these settings on or all the way up to the top, these make the images grainy and blurry and near enough impossible to spot an enemy. So you do not want to be having any of these settings on whatsoever. But what you do want to be having on is Fidelity FX CAS. Have that on and have that set to 100, anywhere between 80 and 100. This will make your game look crisp, look nice, look clean. You'll be able to see enemies and players very cleanly, especially on those old gen consoles. This is actually way more beneficial on those old gen consoles. So if you aren't using this, definitely take advantage of it. EQ mode preset, I have this set to low consumption. This means your Xbox or your PlayStation won't be taking off whilst in the menus. I used to have this on, like just off completely. However, I have this on low consumption. Don't worry, this does not cause an impact on your gameplay. You will not like play at less frames or have more lag, etc. This does not affect your gameplay whatsoever. I have used this setting quite a bit. 120 hertz refresh rate. This all depends whether you have the monitor, the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PC that can take advantage of this, of course, to be able to play at 120 FPS. That's up to you and your monitor settings and whether you've got a monitor that can do so. If you can, of course, absolutely be using this. 120 frames over 60 frames is a big, big benefit. If you aren't able to do this, I would look at trying to upgrade your monitor or your Xbox or whatever to be able to take advantage of this setting, because 120 FPS is huge. There's a big, big difference. I think the standard should be 120 FPS compared to 60 FPS when it comes to modern Call of Duty games, and especially in Modern Warfare 3. Field of view, I have this set to 102, affected and wide. So the reason for this being, I'd say anywhere between 95 and 105 is what you want to run in this game for your field of view. This also does affect how your sensitivity feels, so you make sure you want to make sure you're getting this perfectly correct for yourselves. I have it on affected because independent is the one that makes you more zoomed in. Affected kind of keeps your field of view as your field of view. And the weapon field of view wide. This will make the weapon look smaller, but also this will have less visual recoil. You definitely want to be using it on weapon field of view wide. That is definitely a setting I don't think many people take advantage of or don't realize makes a big difference. So definitely weapon field of view on wide. You get less visual recoil, and it's just going to feel better when you are using those weapons. First person camera movement and third person camera. I mean, I don't play in third person anyway, but least 50%. As much as you can't change it to 0, unfortunately, this stops the camera shaking whilst you're trying to play, you know, whilst you're trying to commit a gunfight and you're shooting, etc. You won't have the camera shaking as much as if you had it on 100%. So definitely have this set to 50%. Flashbang's up to you, inverted or not. It's up to you. It's either going to have a white screen or a black screen. That's up to you. First person ADS, game perspective, brightness. This is all going to depend on your monitor and your TV and, you know, what brightness you run the game at, etc. So this will be different for everyone. I have this at 47 for though. Just make sure, of course, the number 1 spot is not visible, number 2 is barely visible, and number 3 is easily visible. That's the best way to kind of determine the brightness for yourself. Safe area. This is also another very important thing that I think people overlook, right? The reason I've got this on the absolute minimum is because what this does is your minimap, everything like that, especially the minimap, it's more so for the minimap more than anything, brings the minimap to the center of the screen. And what this means is you'll be able to see the minimap whilst not having to look all the way up to the top left of your screen. You can focus on the middle of the screen and actually see what's going on, like if an enemy comes across that, whilst looking on, you know, slightly to the left to be able to look at the minimap and see those red dots, see where people are, see where your team's spawning, and kind of gauge where the enemy's spawning and stuff. So definitely make sure your safe area is as minimum as possible so you can see the minimap quite clearly in the center of the screen. Next up, audio. I'm going to be honest, my audio settings aren't the most amazing just because I don't think sound whoring is that game breaking in this game. It doesn't really seem to be a big difference, especially with people running dead silence most of the time. But I have headphone bass boost, and these are the settings that I use. You can feel free to copy them down, but to be honest, I don't really sound whore in this game too much. I'm more interested in just, I don't know, I like to have my headset on just to really hear my own gunshots, really. I know it's going to sound weird, but if I don't hear my own gunshots, I seem to miss a lot more shots. It's very weird, but it is what it is. Voice chat, all this stuff, it's up to you whether you like to troll in the you know in the game chat and stuff. Subtitles, none of this is really that useful. The tinnitus sound though, you definitely want to use that if you do suffer from like hearing and stuff. Definitely quite useful. All of that really doesn't make too much of a difference. You could also change the hit marker sound effects if you really want to. I just keep them on and warfare. And then finally, the interface. So none of this is important either, but what is important, because this will make your game look nice and bright and colorful and make things pop out nice and easily, is this. Change your color filter to 2, color filter target to both, and then change these to 100. This will make your game look colorful, look bright, look clean. Things will be easier to spot. And then you can also change this if you really want to for, like, you know, contesting hard points, etc., domination flags, what your teammates will look like color-wise. You can change that to whatever you want to have. Minimap, I believe this is on square on default. If it's not, change it to square. As you can see, you get a bigger minimap. That is important information there. You can see more of the minimaps. You can see where an enemy is, where your team's spawning, etc. Very important. Make sure you have that on square. On horizontal compass off, crosshairs I do have on, of course, and the center dot. I feel like this does help with like centering, so when you want to go up them stairs now and kind of placing the dot where you think an enemy will be at. So this is a very important thing, and I think you should take advantage of it. Definitely have the center dot on, and then change the size to what you want, but I have it on default just because I don't really think the size needs to be that big. Have these set to on, full name so you can see an enemy, and sometimes you get lucky, you know, you can see a red name tag through a brick wall or something, so sometimes it's quite useful. And then finally, your telemetry, which is your server latency, your packet loss. Have those on because you want to see if you're lagging in the server. You want to see if you're getting packet loss. You know, maybe you're getting a questionable gunfight and you're wondering why your bullets aren't hitting. You might be experiencing a lot of packet loss. You might also be experiencing being on a server that is way too bad, like 120 millisecond server or something. You might want to leave that lobby. But that is everything. Those are my Modern Warfare 3 Season 6 settings. I hope this helps you out. I hope these settings will be the final be-all for MW3. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope these MW3 settings help you out. Any questions about the settings that I have shared with you in today's video, let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and help you as best as I can when it comes to your MW3 settings here in Season 6. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, notifications on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye!